Okay, so this is a hard question for sure. So how do we do this one? So here's the wall of separation right here. It's all the way down. Okay, and we're trying to solve for x. So what do? We have fractions. Let me write it over here. When there's fractions with an equal sign, that's the key. We have fractions and we have an equal sign, an equation. We have a left side and a right side. What you do in this circumstance, when you have fractions with an equal sign, is you multiply every term by the LCD over 1. Now, what's the LCD? The LCD, I'm not going to do the LCD. I'm just going to do a common denominator. It's good enough. The LCD over 1, I'm going to take 1. Let's see if I can put it down here. The LCD over 1 equals 1 of each type of denominator item over 1. 1 of each type of denominator item over 1. Now, what am I talking about? What are our denominator items? We have a 2 and we have a 6, right? Those are the only items that are denominator items. Those are the only items that are in the denominators, right? 2 and 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use them both. I'm going to go 2 times 6 over 1. And right here, 2 times 6 over 1. Remember, every term right here, 2 times 6, 2 times 6 over 1. And right here, 2 times 6 over 1. Does that make sense what I just did? I did LCD over 1 to every term. To every term. So it's LCD over 1. And what is the LCD? It's common, stands for least common denominator. The common denominator. Now, technically, this isn't the least common denominator. That would actually be just 6, but whatever, don't worry about it. I'm basically doing a common denominator, 1 of each type of denominator item. So I just look at the denominator items in the beginning, right here, and here's the beginning, 2 and 6. I just say, all right, grab both of them, 2 and 6, and put it over 1 and put it to everybody. Every term gets it. Every term, not just the fractions, but every term. And actually, you know what? When you multiply it with the ones that are not fractions, you don't have to actually make it a fraction. There's really no purpose in that because they're not fractions. You got to put it there, but I'm just going to go 2 times. I'm not going to put it over 1. I mean, there's no real advantage to that. It's the same thing. I'll put it 2 times 6. But you do have to multiply it. I mean, you put it over 1 if you want to every term. All right, we all good? So far, that's a really important step. Now we cross cancel. So 2 cancels 2. So step 2. Cross cancel. Cross cancel. Multiply the leftovers. Cross cancel, multiply the leftovers. So what's left over? 6 times 9, which is, use your calculator, 54, and x. So bring down all the things that are left over. 6 times 9, and you don't need the over 1. That doesn't matter. What multiplies here? These ones cross cancel. 2 times 6, 12. This 1 doesn't matter. 2 times 6 times 6, 72. Use your calculator. Am I going too fast? Is this making sense? And then the last one. 6 cross cancels, remember? And multiply what's left over? 4 times 2. What's that? 8, and don't forget the x. Let me pause for a second. See how much nicer that is now? No more fractions. Do you see how that gets rid of all the fractions, doesn't it? So again, this is really important step. We'll use this a lot throughout the semester. And I know it's hard for people, especially at first. You're not used to it, which I'm assuming you're not used to it. It's new to you today, or just been a long time since you've done this kind of thing. So again, what do you do when you have fractions? Fractions with an equal sign. Fractions with an equal sign. Fractions with an equal sign. The equal sign is an important part of this. It makes it an equation, a left and a right. What you do is you multiply every term by LCD over 1. Now, I know you might be thinking, Mr. Herron, earlier we learned about fractions and we did the same thing to the top and the bottom. Right, this is different because it's an equal sign. So I'm not thinking about the top and the bottom. You might notice I did not do the same thing to the top and the bottom. I only did a 1 on the bottom. And on the top, I did a 2 and a 6. Why is that okay? Because I'm not thinking about left and right. I'm sorry, about top and bottom. I don't have to think about top and bottom. I have an equation. I have an equal sign. So what does that mean? Well, that means the left side equals the right side, right? The left side equals the right side. So I can do anything I want as long as I do the same to the left and the right. I don't care about top and bottom. I don't need to care about top and bottom. All of my thinking with equations is left, right, left, right. Do the same thing to the left that you do to the right. If the left side equals the right side and you do the same thing to all the terms on the left side and all the terms on the right side, if they were equal before, they have to be equal afterwards, you see. So what do? LCD over 1. What's the LCD? All the denominator items multiplied together. 2 times 6 over 1. 2 times 6 over 1, 2 times 6 over 1, 2 times 6 over 1, every term. And then what? Cross cancel and multiply what's left over. So I cross cancel the 2's. What's left over? 6 times 9, 54x. This is just 2 times 6, 12. This is just 2 times 6 times 6, 72. And here the 6 is cross cancel. See how both these denominators were canceled out in the cross canceling stuff? That's why it gets rid of the fractions. That's why we use one of every denominator piece. That way we can wipe out all the denominators, right? 6 is canceled. What do we got? 2 times 4, 8x. All right, let's go on and finish solving for x. How do we solve for x here? Well, now we have x's on opposite sides. And we've learned what you do with x's on opposite sides right down here. Opposite sides. Opposite sides. Do the opposite, right? Do the opposite of either one. And you do it to both sides. So do the opposite, either one, it doesn't really matter. So I'll say, all right, I'll come in here. I'm going to do the opposite of the 8x, minus 8x. And I'm going to do it to both sides, right? Bye-bye. You could have done minus 54x. That's fine. That worked fine too. Okay. These two, just use your calculator. 54 minus 8, I think that's 46x. All right. 54, yeah. And then bring down the plus 12. Bring down the 72. These guys have canceled, so they're gone. All right. And now just get x alone, right? You know what to do from here. Step 4, I'll write it over here for us. I was running out of room. Get x alone, so that means just subtract 12. Subtract 12. All right, we save the 46. We save the number that's right next to x. We save this for the last to divide it off, right? Like always, bring down the 46x. These 12s cancel. This is what, 60? And last step, you know the last step. Last divide by the number next to x. So I'm going to divide by the 46. Boom, boom. X. Now you got to reduce that fraction. I didn't realize I have to do that. It's got to reduce that. So let's see, divide by 2. Top and bottom, that'll become, what's that? 30 over 23. And that's as far as it can go. We can't reduce that anymore. There we go. 30 over 23. And that's our answer. So let's recap real quick. So when you have fractions with an equal sign, you multiply through by the LCD over 1, LCD over 1. And the LCD, you take both the denominator pieces, take every denominator piece and put it over 1 and multiply that by all the terms left and right. All with an equal sign, all of our thinking is left and right. Do the same to the left and the right. And then cross cancel and multiply what's left over. So then I cross cancel, multiply the leftover. Over here, cross cancel, multiply the leftover. In the middle, we just multiply because there's no cross canceling. I mean, I guess you could say the ones, but who cares? And then you get to here, it's much easier from here. X is on opposite sides, do the opposite, get X alone.
So there we go.